They called me weak. They laughed when I fell. They thought I'd just disappear into the background, another forgotten face in the hallway. But they didn't know the fire they were lighting. Every whisper, every shove, every snide remark was a piece of kindling. They thought they were breaking me, but they were just building my pyre. Every day felt like walking through fire. Every look, every sideways glance was a constant stinging reminder that I didn't belong. I remember sitting alone, clutching my books like a shield, just willing myself to become invisible. I wanted to fight back. I wanted to run away, but mostly I just wanted it all to stop. There were times I tried to stand up for myself, but my voice would crack, my hands would shake, and their laughter would just get louder. At home, I'd put on a brave face, so my parents never really saw the depth of the struggle. It was a lonely battle, feeling like a ghost in my own life story, screaming into a void where no one could hear me. And then, one day, something shifted. It wasn't a lightning bolt or a dramatic movie moment. It was a quiet, cold realization that settled deep in my gut. I was sitting there, after another particularly rough day, and it hit me. No one was coming to save me. Not my friends, not the teachers, not anyone. If I wanted respect, if I wanted to stop feeling like a victim, I had to be my own hero. That night, I decided to change. It started small. I joined the school's running club, not because I was fast, but because I needed to prove to myself that I could endure. I started staying late in the library, not just to avoid the hallways, but to sharpen my mind. I made a promise to myself, one small victory at a time. I started with my grades, then my posture. I'd practice speaking clearly in the mirror. Each tiny win was a brick, and I was slowly, quietly, building a fortress. This became my new routine. The pain from my morning runs became my teacher. The shame from years of being pushed around became my fuel. Every insult they ever threw at me, I mentally recycled into motivation. It made me sharper. It made me hungrier. They thrived on my fear, so I learned to thrive on proving I wasn't afraid anymore. It wasn't a smooth, straight line to the top, believe me. There were days I wanted to quit. Days I failed a test, stumbled during practice, or almost let an old taunt get under my skin. I had setbacks, doubts, and moments where the old scared version of me almost took over. But I'd remember that feeling of rock bottom, and I'd push through. I learned that real strength isn't about never falling. It's about how you get back up every single time. My body language changed. I started walking with my head held high, making eye contact. The bullies tried, but their words started bouncing off. My calm defiance confused them more than any angry outburst ever could. Then came the moment. It wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming my space. It was the annual school track meet. The same people who used to trip me in the halls were now in the stands. As I stood at the starting line, I could hear their whispers. But this time it was just background noise. The starting gun fired and I ran. I ran with every bit of pain, every lonely lunch, every silent tear fueling my legs. When I crossed that finish line, the sound of the crowd was a roar. For years they had laughed at me, but in that moment as I stood there catching my breath, seeing the stunned looks on their faces, I was the one who got to laugh last. Remember this. Weakness is a choice, but strength is earned. Go out there and make them remember your name. Thanks for watching, and if this helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.